Another show. So you were saying something about places they were letting us travel
Yeah.
based on
So
us being Canadian, traveling from Canada.
yeah. So basically, the unvaccinated were allowed in 7 countries. I just remember the 3 because, well, basically, a couple countries in Europe. Spain, I think, was one of them. Croatia,
Greece.
Greece, yeah. Mexico, Maldives, and Costa Rica.
So Canada said actually
No, those individual
those
countries.
places said we can go there.
Yeah, unvaccinated people are allowed in those places. Some of them don't require quarantine. Some of them say they don't care about the PCR test. Some of them say they do care about the PCR test. But yeah, we're allowed to go even if we're unvaccinated.
Okay. I guess everywhere else in the world is locked down.
Or we're not allowed unless we're double or triple vax. Right? So,
But as Morris, we're allowed.
yeah.
But as a Moorish citizen,
A
no,
Moorish
Moorish
national.
national.
Yeah.
We got to get away from the word citizen.
Citizen is 2 different jurisdictions. So in law, you got to stay away from subject matters and refer to jurisdiction because jurisdiction is the most powerful word in law. So the more you stay out of their jurisdiction, the more their law can apply to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as Moors or anybody that is sovereign, you're not under the jurisdiction of the corporation once you correct your birthright, which is the birth certificate. A lot of us were sold to the system by our parents and not knowing because they signed our birth certificate incorrectly. So they sold us to the system. That
How should our parents have signed the birth certificate, or should they have signed it at all?
Yeah, it's supposed to be signed, but not to the corporation. It's just like when you're getting married and you have to do a wedding license. It means that you're married to the state that you get married into, not the person that you're married to. You're married to the state because you have to sign an agreement.
Yeah.
When you're getting married, it should be between you and the person you're getting married to. And a witness. You don't have to sign documentation, a bond with the state.
So
And it's
what-
the same thing with the children when they're just born. They have control. That's why they can come in and take away your kids and say you're not a fit parents and all these things because it's within their jurisdiction. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you have to correct your birthright, and once you correct your birthright, now you regain your rights. Opposed to having a privilege, because a lot of us don't know that we exchange our rights for privilege. So it starts when you're born. Our parents does it first. Then when we get the driver's license and all these other documentation in fine print that we don't read, it's telling you what you're doing, but we don't read it. We're just happy that shit, I'm getting my G1, I'm happy. But the biggest thing is you just gave away your rights in return for a privilege, because the laws of the land govern. It is your absolute rights to travel, whether by operating a motor vehicle, by airplane or water. It is your God-given right. If I get up out this room and go out there, I'm traveling. That's my right.
So what made our people want to sign these birth certificates and become citizens so badly?
They don't know any better. Remember, education was hidden from our people, especially there was at a time that our people wasn't even allowed to read. Why do you think that? Because of these informations now that are out here. Now that our people know how to read, what they do, they got a shitload of distraction to distract our people with the entertainment system and all these bad manifestation spells that we cast among ourselves to keep ourselves in our lower selves so we can excel and open up our channel of consciousness so our ancestors can guide us back to where we belong.
That's it.
So that was a situation, but now that We have advanced our knowledge and advancing every day. And as I said, a lot of us, we're reactivating by default, because the last episode I mentioned, we are our own ancestors. We have done this life over and over already. So now we're in the ages of Aquarius, we're reactivating. So it's like you're automatically remembering things and remembering how to do things and remembering this wasn't the way. And it's like you're getting downloads as how to do it. Just like how I figured out that the social insurance number is being used backwards by our people. It wasn't designed. The social insurance wasn't designed for you to use it to get a job and claim for taxes. You're supposed to use it to claim for your debts.
So
when you have a debt to pay, if you're going to buy a house, your social insurance number is a bank account. It's linked to a bank account.
So are you saying the number is backwards now?
No, the number is not backwards. We, the people, we use it backwards.
Okay.
But obviously that's how we're taught to use it. And that's why you have to do your taxes every year, right? Because every year it's an evaluation, and you're adding more money into that account, and they're giving you like peanut shells from your treasury. Since June 5th, 1933, Joint House Resolution passed a new bill that they will no longer be accepting gold or silver for money. They will be doing FRNS notes,
which is the fiat currency.
The fiat currency, federal, what do you call it? Federal reserves?
Federal Reserve
Federal
notes.
Federal Reserve notes. So with that notes being passing around, there's no real money. There's no money of substance. So we can only discharge our debts because everything is a financial instrument, a promissory note. So if I sign you a check with my signature, or a piece of paper stating I am going to pay you for your services, or I'm going to pay this debt in the future, that is a promissory note.
Yeah.
Except the dollar bills now, which are the FRNS notes, those were made promise by the government. They made a promise that they will pay our debt, dollar for dollar.
You mean our debt as an individual?
Our debt. So whatever. Okay, for example, you got to pay your phone bill every month, right? You got to pay your mortgage, rent, or whatever it is, car insurance. That is a debt. So it's a debt waiting to happen. But we can discharge all of our debts through the treasuries of our social insurance number, bank account, and our birth certificate is another bank account with unlimited money. And remember, us living souls, flesh and blood, we were born with virtually unlimited credit. So when you borrow money from the bank and you don't pay on time or whatever, and they say you have bad credit or good credit, whatever, that is bullshit. We all were born with unlimited credit.
So all those credit scores and all that is
so you could discharge
bullshit.
all of that. You could, like, none of those stuff is not real. It's a scam. Like credit, there is no such thing as credit bureau. Like I can send some documents.
The
to
credit bureau
Equifax.
is a private company.
I can send a piece of documentation right now to Equifax, and everything. If I was supposed to own things, because no, I was caught into the system too, believing in the whole credit thing. I got to keep my credit clean and all these things. But obviously, after I start advancing my knowledge, and I realize, and obviously I'm not just talking, I've done some of these exercises myself, and I've been around people that's been doing it for years. They just don't tell people about it because nobody's gonna understand, right?
They have to understand the concept of all of this first before just trying to use it as an advantageous situation.
Exactly.
You know?
So that's what it is. So House Joint Resolution 1933, after that date, we no longer can use gold or silver for money, but we do FRNS notes and credit. But if you notice, 1933, those times, the world was in a very chaotic place too, because at that time it was prominent.
Wasn't there a depression at that time?
Black and white was a big thing.
Yes.
So no blacks allowed and all these stuff that was going on. So that was, they create that distraction for our people not to learn the way of life. So
Our
they can
people
create
got
a
caught up in civil rights.
It's civil rights, and so we don't know that we're using the social security number backwards. And until you correct your birthright and correct that social security number, they will forever have jurisdiction over you. So, you know, you can't say you're sovereign if you're trying to get, I want to go claim my taxes, I want to go claim welfare benefits, I want to claim ODSP or whatever, then it defeats the purpose. You have to be completely out of the system. Sorry, go ahead.
So what about buying property? Because they're going to want documentation of some sort when you're obtaining.
Okay, so let me show you. So as I was trying to show you, your social insurance number, I can get the drafts of Service Canada website, which it's in the form of a money order. So if I'm buying a brand new car, I just go to the dealership and write them a check, and that money is going to be charged to that trust account that from the Federal Reserve. Because remember, it was their pledge to pay our debts dollar for dollar. Not us working for daily bread.
But to attain it first, like how do you actually gain the house or the property?
You're paying for it in cash. You're not
With
we're
a
not doing
check.
credits. We're not crediting nothing. We don't do mortgage. Everything is cash. If the house is $10 million, you write a check for $10 million. But it's the process to go about it, you got to set up your UCC, which is your Uniform Commercial Codes, and that put you also in creditor status, which means that you have control.
You can be a creditor.
You can be a creditor. For example, so when I'm like posting stuff and telling people that I can literally walk around with my gun and the police can't do nothing, I can single-handedly defund the police because I have the power to do that right now. And that would just put a lien on their corporation. For example, whichever agency fucks with me, I just put a lien on them, and I would say I put a lien for 300 billion in gold. How are they going to come up with that? You know how lien works. If you can't pay it, what you do, you walk away, leave it to the person. So I can shut them down.
Legally, you can shut them down.
I can shut them down so they don't fuck with me. I'm trying to tell people we all have that power. Melanated people, we possess all that power, but people caught up into the wrong thing. Like
That's my next
entertainment
question.
and all these bullshit.
That's gonna be my answer for this question. So the question is, what is the biggest threat to melanated people? And my answer, based on what you're saying, is lack of knowledge or ignorance.
Lack
Is
of
the
knowledge.
biggest
So,
threat.
yeah, so
But you can't choose my answer.
I'm not choosing it, but I'm agreeing with it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put it that in a sense, yes, and obviously lacking of knowledge, and our people are lacking knowledge, a lot of knowledge. So lacking knowledge means ignorance. So our people are ignorant. So you can present them with something that will change their whole entire lives, but because they weren't taught about it that way, they quick to look at things are too good to be true, because they manifest darkness upon themselves. So when you're in the dark, you can't see nothing. When you're in the light, you can see everything in the dark, because you just shine your light in the dark. You know, that's why even in the BI Bible, they put it, let your light shine before man so they may see your good work. I can go into any dark place and I shine my light and I can weed people out. I know who is divine and who is not.
That's it.
Like we're gonna unlocking our supernatural power. Superman, Batman, and it's us.
X-Men.
They're imitating us.
They're
all these
imitating
things.
us.
So and it all based on intuition.
The regeneration is real.
It is. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of us now, we're unlocking because we have done this life over and over already. We've done it over different vessels. This body don't mean nothing. It's the soul and our consciousness that moves on. So that's why we judge by that when we die. That's why they say when you die, you go to heaven, and that's some other bullshit. It's either you ascend or you descend, or you go back to do it all over again. So a lot of us, we come back and we do it all over again because we didn't pass this round.
And they used to, in our culture, teach us about this.
They do, but
They used to teach us how we die and what chambers the soul goes through, what process the soul goes through
Yeah.
death. They used to teach us these things.
yeah. So, you know, when I say descend, a lot of us, we're not going to come back even as humans, or our consciousness is not going to come back in the form of an animal. You know, for example, if you go around snaking people, stabbing people behind their back, you know.
So you mean you're saying you can descend into a lower form of consciousness when you come back?
In vessel, you could come back as an earthworm. But that's your consciousness, and you have to work your way back from an earthworm to become a human, because this is the highest level.
And at least as an earthworm, you might just die in 2 weeks and upgrade quickly.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then it's about what you do. So I'm saying it comes back. Life is a game. You got to beat that round to. And the game you're playing, there are levels. You got to successfully complete that level to move
before
to the next
you
level.
move on.
And that's why right now I can't fuck with a lot of people, because they're not on my level. Like, not even to be disrespectful, but they're in a lower round. I'm already ascended to 5D, fifth dimension, and people are still out here, second dimensional beings. How are we gonna interact? It's like two different radio channels. You can't hear the same information.
And some beings are in such a realm that they cannot advance at this stage.
They cannot, and yeah, I'm not even gonna even try to get into the vaccine shit, but the people that took that too, they already waived their rights to even become sovereign in any way, shapes, or form. Like they have jurisdiction over these people for eternity. Well, and obviously until them dead. But when they're going to be punished, they're going to be punished by our ancestors because they want to take the vaccine. You're not supposed to do that. You're condemned. So either way, you're fucked. Like, you're fucked in this life. You're going to be tormented for the rest of this life in this physical. And when your soul dies, your soul can't even be at rest because your ancestors going to be so pissed off at you. You're gonna be sent back to a lower level, like, work your way back, prove your loyalty now.
Start as a tree.
Exactly. So, it sounds like a joke, but it's actually a real thing that's going on, and people don't seem to get it. Like, and I see these things happen every day. Like, I'm ascending every day.
That's what we need to be working towards every day.
And a lot of people, like, they need to clean up their act, like clean up your intentions. You can't ascend if you have hatred in your heart. That's too much. There's no room for love. You got to be living love and in truth and with compassion. And we're in a round now to see the people that don't have compassion and selfish and have selfish traits. They're gonna go down, and they're gonna go down really hard, because now we're in a round. By the energy, we're supposed to be stretching our hand out and helping people when we can, and that is how our not blessing. I don't use the word blessing, but
that is part of your ascension.
Our that's how we get our praises as well, and our good fortunes, which they would call it good karma,
and more downloads.
And you get, because remember, it's levels, and it's unlimited levels, so the sky's the limit. So we are the gods in flesh. Yeah, not the Jesus. And I mentioned before to you guys, like, when you're praying, who are you praying to? You're not even supposed to pray. You're supposed to talk to yourself and speak things into existence. But when you go down on your knee and praying to white Jesus, how is your prayer going to be answered? I know people that's been praying for decades, and their life is still the same.
So what's the best way someone should speak something into existence?
Well, as I said, you have to possess a clean heart. Your intention has to be clean as well, with not just yourself, but with others. And you also have to have a clean body, which means that you can't have like any metal in your body, and you're eating
to disrupt the signal.
You're eating contaminating food like meat and all these things. Those things contaminate your body. Processed foods, yeah, it contaminate your body. So that is why a lot of people, when the shock wave comes, they can't endure it, because their body is not clean. Because remember, we're electric, so sometimes we feel so tired and drained, and we haven't done nothing. Like, you've been wondering, why am I so tired? It's because of the energy that's passing through, the downloads you're getting. It knocks you out. Like, sometimes I feel like my legs are sore, and I'm like, I didn't play basketball today. Why am I so sore? But then I would get the download now. Like, the energy is downloading, and this is why the world is where it is right now, because these other people, as we talked about in the previous episode, they cannot handle the sun or this energy that's flowing right now this divine energy.
That's increasing.
They can't handle it, and it's only going to increase more and more. And that is why the weather machine is turned up, because they're trying to block it out as much as they possibly can.
What are they trying to do with this weather machine right now? Exactly.
We're supposed to have like at least 18 to 16 degree right now.
In beginning of February.
Yeah, because as I said, there's a change in the atmosphere. Like the tail shall be the head be the tail. So like the rich shall. Well, I'm not saying everybody's going to completely turn around, but as I said, it's all about the consciousness and your compassion and who you are as a person. You're a person that possesses a clean heart, a pure hand, good intention. You're going to be highly favored because that's the energy that's out there now, opposing to the person that is looking to take all for themselves. They have no favor. There's no place in this land for people like that now. It's all about humanity. Humanity, unity, you hear that? It goes in synchronization. Humanity, yeah. So it's all about humanity and unity. And if people can't unite among one another, then they're going to be cast away. Because as I said, we are activating. So we're going to have the people to unite among us because we're activating. So, for example, some people may not even know these information, but they can find themselves just knowing stuff, and that's why they have to speak to somebody else. So when they hear it again, it confirms like, oh shit, I thought about that. You didn't thought about it. It was a download you got. But you need to hear it from somebody else, and that's why everything is divinely appointed.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to answer that same question. You want to answer?
Yes.
What is the biggest threat to melanated people?
Our biggest threat is each other. I'm tired of hearing about shootings, killing each other. Jealousy is another one too, amongst friends and family, and just being critical. I mean, hearing a friend doing better than you is in this community. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to see that. We don't realize that we're keeping each other down just by our negative intentions.
Where did we get this behavior from that you're talking about? Like, where did this come from?
Social media,
I think it came before social media.
But I feel like everyone's trying to get ahead, right?
It was taught from slavery.
From slavery.
It's called the crab in the barrel mentality. So that was another spell they put on us to keep ourselves down, because they can't stop us, so only we can stop ourselves. So they got to make us do shit like that.
But they want it like that. They want us to turn against each other.
They want us, but then again, like, so all of those stuff is not possessing a clean heart, good intention, and pure. Because for me, if I see my friends accomplishing, flourishing, I'm happy to see that shit. I'm not gonna be like, yo, how the fuck they doing that? Even if I'm not doing what they're doing, and it was something that I'm trying to do, that motivates me. It shows me that, yo, it's possible. I can get this done. Maybe I need to work harder towards it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm happy for those people with all good intention. No ill intention. I'm happy. If anything, I will go and ask that person for advice, like, how can I this, that, whatever, genuinely. I'm not even like, say, I'm in a bad mind way. I just want to do something because you're doing it. I've been trying to do it for the longest while. It's not working for me. How did you get this done?
How did you get it?
And I have been doing things, and people come to me like that, and I dealt with them divine. I didn't look at them like, yo, I'm not going to tell you.
Exactly.
Because if you know something, like, for example, knowledge is free, and if you have the knowledge and you don't share it, you're going to lose it. Because, as I said, it's the time we're in now, ages of Aquarius. Pisces is over, so it doesn't matter what was going on then. It has to stop, come to a complete halt, and it's a new beginning. So we're living in a complete different world right now from the world we know up until 2019. It's a different world. And it's all surrounded with the energy.
Yes.
So people just gonna live in misery and keeping themselves in a lower vibration, and the words of their vocabulary, because as I said before, and I'm gonna say it again, every word is a spell. Because why you have to spell a word? Right? Why they tell you? Don't you have to spell a word? Yeah. So it is a spell. Everything is a spell, and everything you think of is a thought, and every thought is a manifestation. So it's either a good manifestation or a bad manifestation. So either it's going to be a manifestation a spell manifestation or a manifestation to be successful. So either way, like when you think about, that's why you have to control. Sometimes your mind takes control over you and you start thinking all these stuff. You allowing the demons in. When you feel like your mind is telling you to do things and you're like, you have to be fighting against it. You need to go detox yourself or whatever.
Grounded.
Maybe go drink some H3O or something. Try to get that out your system, because it means that you're being attacked by demons. Because you're supposed to be in control of your thoughts at all times. And that is why for me, a lot of people done messed up stuff to me, like rip me off, steal my shit, whatever. And I could like,
You could have broke down.
Not broke down. I'm the type of person, I could have get people killed, like slap my finger and get people. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that, because I'm like, I'm not gonna make these
That
people,
doesn't benefit you.
I'm not gonna make these people make me descend into an earthworm and come back as an earthworm the next day. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at the bigger picture. Like sometimes people piss you off and you want to do them something so bad, but you gotta like, yo, everything I do, there's a consequence, and in the universe, everything, you know. You gotta think about the consequence, and a lot of people is not conscious like that to like, think about that far ahead. Like, yo, my next life, what am I trying to do? You know what? Somebody steal some money from me or take some stuff and run off, and I'm gonna like, you know what? Somebody else is gonna do it, because that's what they go around and do. They rip people off. Somebody else they're gonna rip the wrong person off. I don't want to have that blood on my shoulder.
Nope.
So that's why a lot of people get away with shit, and then, you know, they will think that I'm soft, but I'm laughing because I'm like, I could be, I'm at a mutual balance. I'm right in between 50-50. So I could be on both sides, but I'm as useful on the dark side as I am on the light side.
And you have to think of where you want to be.
Exactly. So what am I? Am I a light worker? You can't serve two masters. So either you're serving the light or you're in the dark. You can't be on both sides. So I
used to hear some people say that we need to sometimes use this sort of dark energy or something. What do you think about that? What do you say to that?
No, you don't need
I heard some people say like we need to balance it, or
no, you don't need to balance. Balance is at a mutual ground, which means that you're on a thin line. You're not on one side and you're not on the other side. You're just on a mutual ground.
On the border.
And on the border. So that's what it is, like a mutual ground. So you're not too much of one thing and not enough of the next. You possess the ability to be whatever you want when you want. But obviously with conscious decision making, you know that certain things you shouldn't indulge. You know that you shouldn't go on the dark side. You know what's going to happen. Like, for example, you see a stove hot burning, you know not to touch it. You know what it's going to feel like. So it's the same thing with the dark. You're going over to the dark, it's like you're going to touch a stove that is hot. You're going to get burned. So you got to make conscious decisions.
Did you want to answer that question?
I agree with both, because we're our own worst enemies, the crab in a barrel mentality. But it's because we're not cognizant of even what we're doing. We're too busy keeping up with the Joneses. It's about this foolishness. But if there is anything that I can add, it's how far from faith our people are removed, because we are so religious and we're not actually following or doing anything in faith when we are following the religion. If we were doing it in faith, then we would understand that we are a part of this godliness, and we do possess the power to answer a lot of these prayers that we're trying to manifest through your white Jesus. So, I mean, that's the
But
only
what
thing
about the people who have a black Jesus?
you're still giving your power to another entity, and you also don't even have faith that that entity is going to solve anything, right? But you're not taking into account the power that you have to actually get these things resolved, right?
Yep.
So regardless of the color of the Jesus, it's just you removing yourself from the power that you have to make the manifestations come to light.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as colors. It's just what do you call it? Crayon colors. Like the colors, like it doesn't, like people. That's another.
And black and white are not even considered colors in the spectrum.
Exactly.
You know.
So that's just another distraction. So at the end of the day, you are the God in flesh. whatever you want to happen, you make it happen. You can't go and ask some unseen entity that you don't even know if it's even there to answer your to answer your manifestation. When you have the power to speak it into existence. You know, you take control of your future. You take control of your life. You take control of this, whatever you want in this life.
No, you say Jesus take the wheel.
Jesus take the wheel and you're
What?
Are you saying that's what we should say?
No, that's what people say. Jesus take the wheel, but like, what do you mean? Like, no, like,
That's like taking no accountability.
no,
you know?
like hold on to the wheel and trust that you're gonna make it because you have the power to do so. But why are you just forfeiting take the wheel? No, it's not. Not with me in the
you
car.
you get to stay in control of that wheel because only you alone can balance that wheel. And you know, you can pray to some unseen entity trying to get your manifestation to manifest when you can do it yourself.
And doesn't it say in the Bible like we were made in His likeness or His image or something like this?
Whose image?
Like God's image. Were we not made in His likeness? Am I making things up? Is this not something in the Bible? Is this not a biblical thing to say? Okay, I swear we were made
No,
in
it
His
does say
likeness.
that in the Bible.
Yeah.
But like, if we were made in His likeness, then why are we taking ourselves out of the godliness equation? But let's not talk about that.
No, I kind of wanted to talk about this after, you know. But what do you think about, say, a man like Kevin Samuels, who talks about relationships to our melanated people? What do you think his effect and prowess is in our culture right now?
Well, I think he's teaching our people accountability that a lot of our people are lacking, and only if our people would start taking some accountability for their own actions, would have been in a better place. So I don't agree with everything he's saying,
but you mostly agree with his message.
But I think at the end of the day, the message is not how the message is received. The message is still going to be the message. So I do agree that he's helping the people to gain accountability and take control over their own actions. And that's what we were saying. Like, so we were taught to have Jesus take the wheel and we just sit back and relax, and it's our life. So why would you have somebody else take the wheel of your own life when you're supposed to be the driver of that vehicle? So that is why we've been lacking that accountability, and our people are got so used to it not having accountability. They just want to sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Because my God's not gonna let me down.
Exactly.
But what are you doing about it,
Exactly.
though?
So that has been the problem. You know, our people are so comfortable, you know, being on the system. So when you tell them about something to get them off the system, they automatically dismiss it because they're thinking
So
that,
they don't even want to come off.
well, what is a man that tell me something? I have to get rid of my welfare. Go about your business. Come out of me,
Get rid of my
Get rid of my
welfare.
welfare. I'm a little baby bonus. And not knowing that you could friggin'
discharge more than that.
everything, and since these bank accounts, you don't possess a debit card to go to the machine and dispense cash. There's other ways to turn that money into cash. For example, I can go to a Bentley dealership now that they're selling that $1.5 million car. It's easy. I just tell the dealer, bro, I don't really want this car. I just want to cash this money out. I'll give you 30%. Give me the rest. You keep your car. He's gonna ask me when we want to do it again. He's not even gonna tell yes or no. He's gonna be like, well, when do you want to do it again? So there's ways. It's about who you are.
Should you say that on camera?
So I'm gonna go to the dealership and be like, okay.
No, but
Just gave me the short
It's not
notes.
that easy.
No,
You
I
can't
know
just-
it's not
you
easy.
can't
Of
just
course
go-
not.
Yeah, you have
I'll
to
go
set
with you
these-
though. I'll go
you have
with
to
you.
set these stuff. You have to set these stuff up. You have to send your documentations
I
to
know.
Capitol Hill. You gotta like send your proclamation, your
I know.
declaration,
I
and
just-
all of that. So, you know, you can't go to there with just
No, I know.
that. And in order
Okay.
for you to receive those instruments, you have to have everything set up.
Set up.
It's like you have a bank account. They're not going to give you a void check
Nope.
and your bank account isn't set up.
Yeah.
You want to, after you set up and everything, now you're
They
now
need the
eligible
transit
to get the
numbers
checks.
and everything.
Exactly. So yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from though, but at the end of the day, it takes a genius to figure it out anyway.
What do you guys think about Kevin Samuels? What's your opinion?
Okay, I appreciate his blunt approach. I feel like if he candy coated or met people where they want to be met, the message would be missed completely. And there's not enough people that are coming with honesty, looking out for your best interest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so talk all you want. Again, I don't agree with everything he says, but I'll take it because there's points here that need to be spoken on.
You're more on the green check mark side.
Yeah, go ahead. Times 2.
Yeah, we need that accountability.
Trust me.
Well, yeah, I mean, some things that he said, I'm just like, whoa, jeez. But again, sometimes people have to be blunt to get the message across. No sugarcoating anything. We're all adults. Some people take things literally too much to heart. But hey, if you missed the message and maybe the message was really for you. But yeah, there was one episode he was going on about a female having different baby daddies. I can't remember exactly what he said, but she was butthurt about what he said. And I said, yeah, well,
How much baby daddies did she have?
she had like 4, I think. And then she's wondering why she can't find someone decent. And I'm like, Kevin said, well, you have 4 baby
Delusional.
daddies. So like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Some people need to hear that, you know? You can't depend on the government for welfare checks and baby bonus and expect
do
a
you know how
man
much they be paying?
but it doesn't matter, and expect a man to come to the relationship, be stepdad to all your kids,
Aren't some
and then have
women
money to pay all the bills.
motivated by that?
They are motivated, which is sad because it's just like, personally, I don't want to be in the position where I'm dependent on a man for everything. You know what I'm trying to say? I can't be that female to
Because
do
anything
that.
can happen, bro.
Anything
What
can
about to be-
happen.
Anything can
What
happen.
about to be dependent on
Because
the
nothing is
government?
forever. No, definitely not. Right? Nothing is forever. You know what I'm trying to say? People can cut you off of their financial agreement anytime. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking like he couldn't work anymore.
But then again,
You
with
gotta
all
help
these-
out.
With all these scenarios of being dependent on the government, like, do you guys know that the government is depending on us? That's how it is, because the government can't possess any wealth without the people.
Without the people. Yeah.
They're depending
So-
on our lack of knowledge.
They depend on our lack of knowledge and our energy, which is the real currency, not the fiat, federal notes that they're giving
Printing.
the people. It's our energy generates the currency for them. So that's why they have to develop a system where they can drain our energy by having us in depression and oppression, because that's the continuation of depression. So a lot of people are living and they're just oppressed, like they're living, and a lot of these people go out in public, and the people that have advanced knowledge would know that these people's lives are not going well, because if you're always ignorant and you're doing things out of proportion just because you're that upset at your life, so you try to bring it to everybody, you're trying to put the energy onto everyone, it's not a good look.
Not a good look. Nope.
The people that have the knowledge will know that this person's life is not going well. They're definitely at a dark place. They're too much into the dark and they can't see the light, and knowledge is light. That's what knowledge is, light. Darkness is not knowing, that's ignorancy. So a lot of people, they're too deep into the dark, so they will never possess that light. They're not interested to do so because they're so brainwashed that the dark is the light. So like everything is switched places. They think the dark is the light, and they know it's not the light, but they believe it because the white man said so. They so believing in the Bible and Hebrew chapter 6 and John 3:16 for God so loved, and all these bullshit.
What's the significance of the gold Why is gold so significant?
Well, gold is what they call milk. Gold and silver is the same thing they call milk and honey in the Bible. The gold, the gold looks like honey, and the milk is silver. That's what it is. But they didn't want to say gold. So.
And what is the significance of this milk and honey?
Everything. Well, that's the most supreme word, right? So everything they talk at the top of it is milk and honey, gold and silver, and that's what the earth produced.
Isn't there more supreme metals to gold and silver? Or are those at the top?
No, I don't.
Platinum is like at the same level as silver.
Exactly.
I think.
So nothing is higher than gold.
Nothing
like uranium, everything, titanium is all less.
Because platinum is not even considered money in the laws of the land. It is only gold and silver. So those have to be the two top two.
Original finances.
Yeah.
But also too, I'm gonna add. Okay, sorry if I cut anyone off.
No.
So I'm gonna add. I read something that they said to battle inflation during these times, gold and silver is a great asset to have and to build.
To battle inflation. So to have silver and gold stocks or physical silver.
Physical. Physical.
So what are they trying to say, that you could trade into equity?
Well, they said so inflation. I mean, let's be real. Gas prices, food prices are going up. Economy, so they say, is crumbling right before our eyes. So they said possessing gold and silver can help beat against inflation. So when people are caught in a tight situation, they said they can use the gold and silver to trade and get money. Obviously, gold holds more value, right? So
the conversation me and Novato were having was that people don't need to hold the physical gold, right? They don't need to.
No, you don't. We have the rights to the gold.
We have the rights to it.
Yeah, so it is our rights because we're the natural inhabitants of the land. The gold is the natural inhabitant of the land, so that puts us in the same category. Our body is gold. When we die, that we turn back, our body decay into gold. That's why they like to kill us. They want us to keep on dying because it's generating a lot of gold. That's another trick.
Isn't that like the fossil fuel?
Sorry, say that
Like
again?
fossil fuel? I thought that was like our bodies regenerating minerals to the earth.
That's exactly what's
Like our
happening.
fossil fuel.
Yeah. So even when we die, we're beneficial to the earth. We're producing other things. Like obviously the consciousness and the soul moves on, and the body does what it has to do back to the earth and give back.
I'm a person, like, I'm interested in those things, like to even watch a body decay and those things. I would want to see those things.
No, thank you.
To see what it turns.
you'd be sitting
And
there a long
because-
time watching.
But we're so scared of these things now because this is just a part of life,
It's a part of life.
but we're so scared of, going into these areas. I don't know. But I think we would learn so much if we experience these things. We would learn so much about life and about nature,
Well, that's why they block us from that stuff and give us distraction to focus on other things that doesn't mean nothing to us. Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
No?
Oh, okay. So let's talk about we don't have much time left, but let's talk about some of the laws that were designated for our people at one time.
The laws of the land.
The laws of the land. Let's start at the laws of the land.
So the laws of the land, it is still the same 10 commandments. Well, there's more commandment, but it is more in depth. For example, like when they say thou shalt not kill, the 10 commandments just said that, but under what circumstance? They never mentioned that to you, they didn't tell you that we live in the laws of the land. We're governed by an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So you also have the right to, if somebody is threatening your life, you have the right to kill that person because you're defending yourself. So it was either you're gonna die or that person dies. Which one do you rather? If somebody is hurting you, you hurt that person back. Somebody damage your property, you damage that person's property back. And that is how the laws of the land work.
What about taking it a step further than they took it?
Take it a step further.
Like they damage your house, then you damage 2 or 3 of their houses.
Then now that would deem unlawful because you take it. Like it's like somebody take 1 finger and you take 3 fingers. It's not even. So we're at a time now. It is everything has to be at a mutual balance. So you're not gonna do too much, and you don't want to be too much or too less of everything. You just want to be just equal. So everything is equal. And those are the only 2 crimes you can commit under the laws of the land in that jurisdiction is hurting people and damaging properties. So, you know, when I say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, doesn't mean that if somebody do something to you, you have to. There's also the authority that will deal with that person, and you know, without reasonable explanation of any form of self-defense or no alibis, that person would be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, which is the laws of the land, which means that you still can go to prison in the laws of the land because you did a violation. Now, opposing to legal, a lot of people don't know that legal and illegal are 2 different things.
What do you mean?
Legal governed by the laws of the corporation, which are the colonizing government. So they come and they make rules and policies, and I'm gonna break that down to you. So if you notice, at the end of policy, you take away the Y, and put the E, what do you get?
Police.
And what does E stand for? Enforcement. So
policy.
So policy enforcement. That's what these police are. So now I'm gonna go back into jurisdiction. So you see, when they have jurisdiction over you now, they can enforce their policy on you because they have that jurisdiction. When you're out of that jurisdiction, they cannot. So now you see how the jurisdiction is so powerful.
So how does someone present, let's say I get pulled over by the police, how do I present what jurisdiction I'm in to them?
Well, if you're sovereign, which is sovereign is just a man that stands on his own, that didn't subscribe to a nationality, or you are a Moor, a Moorish, or a Maroon, that's what you're going to present to them. But also you guys got to remember that most of these constables, they're not going to know these information. So it's just a very few handful that might know. What you do, you request to speak to their supervisor. Not to speak, but have their supervisor on scene.
Come on scene.
Yeah, because if I get stopped and I show my flag, I don't even show my IDs, my travel card, I'm not obligated to do all of that. Because they're not even supposed to talk to me to begin with. So if I'm stopped, I'll just show my flag. I had a flag.
So wait, when they run your plate, they'll already see this information about you?
No, they won't, because I'm not in the system. So my plates don't register to me, because I'm no longer going by my strawman, which is the name of my corporation. I'm going by my Moorish name.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, so even if the vehicle is registered in their system, the vehicle is not a living person. You can't go and have a conversation with the vehicle. You have to talk to me.
So your vehicle, it has to be registered to the strawman?
No, it doesn't have to be registered. It could register to anything. I don't even need. I could literally go and drive my car without a plate. That's how bad it is. But I'm not trying to create all that excitement. So we're trying to create a system where we have our own plates and everything. But for now, we're still using the plates of the service and serial plates.
Yes.
But
if they stop me, I'm not identifying myself as my strawman. I'm identifying myself as my Moorish name, and I would just show my flag. I'm not even showing them my IDs. And if they're like, what the hell is that? I would be like, well, I would request for you to have your supervisor on scene immediately. I am not speaking to you about anything more, because clearly you have no understanding
of what this is.
And I understand why you don't have the understanding, because they don't want you to know either. And if you have any more questions for me, I suggest you speak to my indigenous lawyer. However, I am one, but I'm not in the mood to self-represent right now. I will have my attorney speak to you. And if you violated any of my rights of the laws of the land, I will put a lien onto your department, your agency, that you guys will never be able to pay. You will be out of a job in 2 weeks. So think wisely about your action. Don't be the guy that caused your foundation to be defunded. That's why I said earlier, I can single-handedly defund the police, but it's me by myself. And this is why the corporation is shutting down now with the United States and all these things, because it's we are shutting them down. We're putting on liens on their shit.
Little by little.
Little by little. Like what did the one call the IRF or IRS? Yeah, like so.
What's happening with the IRS?
A Moorish. It was a Moorish guy. I forgot his name, but he's in America. He liened them for 300 billion in gold. So that's why they're no longer in existence.
Hold on.
If you look around, if you look around, you see a lot of abandoned buildings and stuff going on, right? Who do you think if we take down the head of the snake? You kill the snake, right? That's how you take down the head. So we going after the head corporations, and everything is just domino effect. And right now, I am ready to put a lien on Parliament Hill. Yeah, that government is done. They won't able to pay that because I'm not asking for federal notes. I'm asking for gold, and they don't have that
to produce.
And their federal notes have to be backed by gold, right?
So this is the thing. Their federal notes are backed by the full faith and trust of the United States, and the full faith and credit of the United States. And you and I know the United States is not a living person. So how do you have credit? You can't have credit. That's an artificial entity. So they have no goal. We have the rights to the goal. The wealth of the world has returned back to our community, and our people don't even know it.
But we have to take it.
Like our people they're the one that's standing in our way. That's why we can't even move as fast as we're supposed to move, because a lot of our people, we're worried about them falling. Like if we hit too hard, so we have to take it little by little, and hopefully the information goes around, and these people get it through their head and realize that you have to correct your birthright and get out of that system, or else you're just going to be sinking with them. Yeah. So that is why the government pledge that they will pay their citizens debts, dollar for dollar, discharge their citizen debts, because since there's no money of substance, you can't really pay for a debt. You can only discharge a debt. And because everything that's going around is a promissory note. It's a financial instrument, from the dollar notes to a draft, money order, or whatever. Credit is also a promissory note, because credit is like, you're taking something based off faith. And we were born with virtually unlimited credit, because with us living soul, flesh and blood, we have the ability to pay back unlimited debt, because we have the ability to invent, create. And you don't know the next person, for example, that's going to come up with the invention that's going to make a huge fortune. Like, for example, you don't know the next person that's going to come up with a song theory or a book that could
change the world.
So that's why we were born with unlimited credit. But in order to access the unlimited credit, you have to discharge the credit, because it is forbidden for the banks to lend money, federal notes, to their depositors. It is forbidden. That is illegal. But they still do it because the information is hidden from the public.
You mean for them to give us paper notes?
No, for them to give you credit and saying you owe them back paper note, you owe them, because remember, we have unlimited.
Illegal.
They're taking something that is already yours and giving it back to you in crumbs. Like we owe, that's our credit. But did we unknowingly sign up for that? We unknowingly signed up for it. That's why they let our parents sign us over to the system. When we were born with the birth certificate, they signed it incorrectly and signed us over as so we're no longer have our rights. We have privileges, and that is why they can
take your privileges.
So basically, the way they sign the birth certificate is like they own us, and the parents is just like, you just
They're your guardian.
pretty much a guardian, but they can come in and take your kids at
But
any
we're
time.
your masters.
Yeah, they can come in and that's why they can come in and take your kids. Oh, somebody called child services. We heard of abuse. Oh, we're gonna take your, and you can't do nothing. So is it? So tell me now, is that your kid or they're your kids? They have control. They have the power of attorney over your child and your life. Even with the marriage, everything you sign a bond with your signature. You sign a contract with the state. As I was saying earlier, when people get married and they sign that wedding bond, if you're supposed to get divorced, you can't even get divorced on your own. You have to go back to them. You have to get a lawyer. You have to go to court. So you have to spend money back into the system. So everything is just a money grabbing system for you to pump money back into it. So they monetize all these documents that wasn't supposed to be even necessary, and have people use them. So every time you sign your signature, you sign a financial agreement. That's a promissory note.
So, I mean, we're about to wrap up, but I mean, you guys have anything to say? Any questions you guys have?
No, none at this time.
You girls, I should say.
Matriarchs,
Yeah.
because boys and girls are bad spells as well. They're not what you think it really meant. But I'll talk about that another time, because that's have to do with astrology science.
Talk about, just as you said the word matriarch. Talk about the patrilineal history that we used to have, and instead of this matrilineal system we have now, where we are going by the man's name through marriage and all these stuff.
Okay, let me say this. You know what? You know the real meaning of husband. You know it's not.
No,
what you think it is.
I don't know the meaning.
It's an animal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Husband mean animal. And because look, heifer. What is a heifer?
Yeah, cow, female
A cow.
cow.
Yeah, it's a cow. So a husband that's why they said wife, because they don't want to make it so obvious, but that's what it is. Like in their system, we're just animals. We're not human beings. That's why what's going on right now, and who they test vaccine on? Animals, right? But what are they doing now? They're testing the vaccine on humans, right?
It's a purge, yo.
Okay. So vaccines supposed to be tested on animals. So is that the proof?
Well, they can legally write no animal cruelty testing.
Well,
That doesn't answer the question though. Just that's the base there.
Oh yeah. So sorry. Repeat it again, because I just that was just.
yeah, let's just talk about like how we once used to follow a patrilineal system of going by the female's name.
So what we so you're saying that husband and wife isn't a thing. So what should we be called? What should a husband be called?
That's a good question.
Well, we are kings and queens, and anything below that, we're degrading ourselves by
Okay.
spells.
Okay.
And that starts at the lowest level. King. So yeah, you're a king or you're a queen. That's at the lowest level, because we're all gods and goddesses as well. So anything below a queen or a king, you're literally degrading yourself, and you're speaking into existence. Because if you don't think that you're a king, then who the hell is going to think that you are? You set the standard, you set the trend with yourself, right? Like you raise the bar, and everybody else have to follow. You know, people are treated based on how they want to be treated. The standards you set, what you stand for, what you believe in. Yeah. So it's about acceptance. What are you willing to accept in this life? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
What are you accepting? Are you accepting something that's lower than what you are? Then yeah, then you're telling yourself that's what you are. Then yourself might just believe that's what you are, and you get into that lower self. You know, like, you know, we're supposed to be climbing, not going lower. You know, we're supposed to be into the light, not into the dark. So what are you accepting, darkness or light?
Well, that's it for now, and we're gonna go and enjoy some H3O right now. You know?
Yeah.
I got some H3O to tackle over there. So until next time, guys.
Until next time,
Peace.
love and light.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more.